Hello everyone, welcome back to Arts Undone, welcome back to my channel. What we're looking at here is part 2 of my painting of a tree, and we're going to do some color blocking here. So if you saw part 1, you saw the step where I was drawing the composition onto the canvas. You'll notice that it looks a little bit different than it did at the end of that video. I applied an underpainting, an undercoat, which didn't adhere very cleanly to the canvas. You can kind of see that. And so I think I'm going to use this portion of this video to critique myself a little bit. This is a method of painting that I don't normally do. I don't usually do underpaintings. I usually just kind of apply color directly to the canvas. I usually have a much more abstract style, a much more expressionistic style. A part of what I'm experimenting with this painting and some other projects I'm working on is really just kind of going back to a more academic classic style, what I learned back in art school. I haven't really painted in that more sort of conventional way in a long time, and so I'm wanting to try to remind myself how to do that. And the best way to do that is to just jump in. So criticism I have now looking back at the footage, I really wasn't paying enough attention to value, to the value scale of the painting. Often what you really should do, or what's often recommended to do, is in the underpainting. So in that sepia tone underpainting you see there, that's the area where you should really start blocking in lights and darks. And then you should carry that through to this first layer of color. And I didn't really do that. I just kind of applied an undertone with very little attention to value. And here in this session, I've tried to bring a little bit of the value in. But at any rate, even at the end of this painting session, at the end of this video, you'll see there isn't a huge value range. And so value is something I'm going to have to develop in the next painting session. So maybe putting myself a little bit behind the curve by not really thinking about where I want the lights and darks to be at an earlier stage in the painting. But like I said, this is a technique, a style that I haven't really done in a very long time, and so I'm just trying to get my hands back on that process and understand it again. I hope you guys appreciate or you enjoy watching these kinds of paintings. Obviously, I have this sped up many times faster. This whole painting session was about an hour and a half to 2 hours total, and here I've got it sped up and cut down to under 10 minutes. And you guys can let me know in the comments below. You can let me know if you like having it this way, kind of a quick overview, or if you would prefer to see real time the painting process, or you would prefer it to be a little bit slower, or, let me know your thoughts. Is this something you would like to see live streamed? Is this something you would like to see real time? Or do you kind of like this format where I'm just doing a voiceover after the fact? At any rate, you see me here, I'm blocking in some darker colors in the background. You can't really see, again, off screen, I have my laptop with my reference photo. As I mentioned in part 1, I'm using a photo that I took myself of a tree that's not too far away from here. And here I'll start to mix up the colors for the tree trunk itself. So in this painting, we're really just blocking in some color, some basic shapes, and we're not getting into any detail here at all. Really just color scheme, some basic shapes. I am using oil paint. I think I mentioned that before. I am using oil on a pre-stretched canvas. It's about, I think that canvas is about 16 by 20. And so I'm not being super careful to delineate any sort of nuance or special shapes. I'm just kind of blocking it in. I'm not concerned about completely covering every inch of the canvas. What we'll see is next time I'm gonna, after this is set up for a few days, I'll come in and do the next pass. And that's when I'll really start refining some shapes and putting in all of the details. There are actually going to be leaves on this tree. It's not a dead tree, but I wanted to get the main structures of the branches in first. And that's what I'm doing here. So like I said, the next step is going to be actually getting into some detail, developing the color, really working on a focal point and determining some of those things here. Right about here, I think I'm getting to the point where I realize I'm just kind of overworking it and I need to eventually stop. That's often the hardest part of a painting for me, is like, when do you finish? And especially a painting like this that's in progress. At some point you got to realize, okay, I just need to stop. I just need to let this be for a little bit and come back to it later. That's a really tough decision. There I go. I'm just like, okay, that's enough. So next time, we'll be bringing in some details, we'll be developing the color, and really providing more structure. So please let me know if you enjoyed this, and I will see you next time in part 3. Thanks, guys.